What's going on YouTube? Chris back with another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you another keyboard video. This is the RoyalAxe L98 and co-created with RoyalAxe and ProtoArc. ProtoArc did provide this to me free of charge to bring to you all today. And so I thought I'd go ahead and unbox this, go through the features, typing experience, and kind of really if it's worth your money. This seems to be like a really great keyboard option for the office or your home, especially with a lot of people working from home now. Wireless, RGB, mechanical keyboard. This is an 1800 keyboard layout. We'll get into that a little bit later. So this seems to be like the keyboard to get, plus 130 bucks. Hard to beat. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at it right now. All right, everyone, so here we are with the unboxing. I've already gone ahead and took off the plastic, so this does come in a plastic wrapping. This keyboard comes in multiple different colors depending on where you purchase it from. You can pick it up on Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description where you can pick it up. So this is the one that I was sent, at least. This is like the navy, this is the blue and white variant. They also do have a charcoal gray, and then kind of like a pebble white, like a cream color. So enough of me rambling. Like I said, this is the L98. This is a mechanical keyboard. Basically, it's a full 100% board, but it's in a slightly different layout. That is the 1800 layout. And so basically what that means is normally in a 100% keyboard or 110 key keyboard, you have your arrow keys, and then you have 6 keys right above that, such as like your insert, delete, home, end, those keys, that cluster. This does away with that cluster, and it shifts the numpad and the arrow keys closer to your enter, backspace, right shift key. And so that's the 1800 layout essentially. So that may be an issue for you. It may not, but at least you still get the numpad. Someone that works in IT like myself, numpads are a godsend, especially when you're dealing with IP addresses. And if you work in that industry, you know what I mean. So, like I said, mechanical keyboard, this uses Gateron Yellow Pro switches. So we're going to take a look at those and everything that you get in the box. This does support Windows and Mac. This kind of shows you really how to pair the keyboard to your device. You can also use this wired as well. So far, let's worry about the actual keyboard last. Looks like you got a lot of goodies here. Okay, so first we get a coiled cable. So very, very nice. Okay. USB-A to USB-C, which is way here in this coiled part. So you have a white cable, and depending on which keyboard color you get, this cable will differ as well. Kind of an aviator style metal connector, so that way you can kind of quickly disconnect part of the cable and leave it plugged into your computer, and things like that. That way you don't have to keep disconnecting, reconnecting USB cables. So this is type C and type A. So type C is on the keyboard end, type A is on your host, your computer end. And you have your coiled portion of this. So this is probably about 3/4 of an inch and diameter of a coil there. And so yeah, that's a nice little addition that you get. We get another box of goodies here over on the left hand side of the box, and we get some extra keycaps, so you can change out some of the theming of the colors of the keycaps as well. And then you also get a keycap puller along with a switch puller. That way you can swap out the switches if you don't like them, or if you whatever you want to do. So these are the switches themselves. You get 4 additional switches, so that's nice. Here they are. Here are those Gateron Yellow Pro, and these are a linear switch. As we can see, these are plate mounted by the 3 pins, the center and the 2 pins that go into the PCB. On a 5-pin switch, you get 2 extra plastic nubs that come out. That gives a little bit more stability, but this will do fine for most users. And clear top housing, and there's the bottom housing with the yellow stem. And here is the sound test of what that switch will sound like. So these do come a light factory lube, so you're gonna actually get a pretty decent sound profile from these switches. Going on to the keyboard itself, it is plastic wrapped. Underneath the keyboard, you get a instructions manual. So this is going to show you all the ins and outs of pairing, wired connection, Bluetooth or 2.5 gigahertz connection, the software that it uses, and all of the things. I would recommend downloading any sort of drivers from their website, and that way you can update any sort of firmware if needed as well. You get a clear plastic keyboard cover to help keep dust when the keyboard is not in use. And then the keyboard also is wrapped again in plastic. All right, and here we have the L98 in the navy white color. I chose this color because I love this color blue, the shade of blue, and we also get some orange. Go Vols. But anyways, I would not say this is navy blue by any means. I think the naming that they have for that is a bit off. So let's go ahead and go around the keyboard. This is a plastic polycarbonate case of a keyboard. So here is that 1800 layout. As we can see, the numpad has scrunched up close up to this right shift enter and your arrow keys here. On the back side is where we have our USB-C port along with our 2.5 gig USB for wireless. That way you don't have to use Bluetooth, but you can if you want. And here is the switch for on and off. On this left-hand side, here we can choose the selector of whether we want to use wired, Bluetooth, or 2.5 gigahertz. On the backhand side, we have that RoyalAxe logo and the ProtoArc logo, L98. We have some rubber feet for dampening and to help keep it planted on your desk. So on the back, these are 2-stage feet, so depending on how much of an angle you want to have on this, you can flip out whatever feet that you want. I would say the smaller feet are actually a little difficult to pull out, but no biggie there. And on the front hand side, we have this RGB LED strip, which we'll look at here in just a second. And overall construction, there is some flex, as we can see, torquing around. And we're gonna go ahead and lift up these back feet. And there is our L98. Now let's go ahead and look at all the keys. We have your F row up here, your number pad like I mentioned. Here are those 4 keys, delete, insert, page up, page down. They're above the number row, your arrow keys, and there you are. So these other keycaps, you can change out the color of these orange to blue if you'd like, or change the arrow keys to orange and the space bar. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get this plugged up. So I would say this is not the most quality of coiled cable. I will say that it's not braided or anything like that. So just keep in mind, but it is nice to have. We also do have a screen right here as well, which is also pretty fantastic. We're gonna need to switch this over to wired mode, but of course, turn it on. On the left-hand side, we have 3 little indicators depending on your caps lock, numlock, and also that there is power charging the battery, since this can be wireless. there's a battery built in, and that is it in terms of surroundings. You have slain an enemy. So funny enough, my older brother actually purchased the cream color board for an entire Starfield themed keyboard, and when I found out that he bought it, I was like, whoa, this is the board that ProtoArc sent me. Really curious to see how it is, and sure enough, we ended up with the same board now. Okay, so I'm not sure why it wasn't turning on. I pressed a couple keys and then it powered on. We're gonna go ahead and pull this little plastic protective film off. All right, after struggling some, I finally got that peel pulled away from that screen. So something I've noticed, holding this and trying to get that peeled off, the actual keyboard continued losing power and kept powering on. So the display here shows the time, the date, and that it's charging, what mode you're in as well, and that we're on Windows. So it's not the right time, but of course the software, you're going to be able to adjust all of that. Let's go ahead and see, it just powered off. I don't know why. And that's concerning. RoyalAxe ProtoArc. You may need to check some QC issues on your keyboard here. All right, everyone. So here on the ProtoArc website, you're going to need to download the driver for either Mac or Windows. It takes you to a OneDrive link, which is really not not ideal. And then download the file, and then basically it'll go through configuring. Click enter to configure. And here we are. So basically, you have your different layers because you have your FN keys. You can change it from iOS, Mac, Windows with the FN keys there too. And you can swap the different layers between layer 1, 2, and 3. Unfortunately, this doesn't support VIA. This is their own software, and they have the lighting here as well. You can change the key sensitivity, lighting. You have all these various lighting presets within the software, and you can now see it kind of like trickling through. You can change the speed, the brightness, and then on the keyboard, like I was saying, you can increase the brightness, and it tells you on the screen how bright it is there as well. Left and right changes the speed of all the various animations. So you can actually create. Okay, interesting. So there's a sketch pad that you can create different animations of for the screen, it looks like, actually. Unfortunately, they don't have ones pre-made. That'd been pretty cool if they adjust screen time. Here we are. Okay, so the military time. Okay. There's no way to change that. It is what it is. Delete all frames. You can choose a picture if you want. And so if we actually, let's see here, we want to do RGB mode. Will it actually work? Okay, so we got that. Let's take a look to see how we can apply it. File, upload current frame. Cool. So yeah, you can create your own like GIFs, animations, design up here, and then you can apply it to the keyboard, which it's sending. Takes a couple seconds. And so there is my background on my monitor. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You can put GIFs on it. Really, we're wanting to see how this types. The build quality in terms of the case, not great, unfortunately, because it is plastic and plastic bends. Let's take a look at the stabilizers here real quick. There you can see the clip-in stabilizers, and looks like these are north-facing switches. Okay, so basically what that means is instead of the switch being rotated 180 degrees with the RGB on the bottom, it's on the top. There's debate on preference on that. Basically, north-facing switches, there's some incompatibility with some keycap types and profiles. Basically, part of the keycap will rub on the housing of the switch. And it appears that the stabilizers are lubed, as you can see right in there. There's some lube. So the switches and keycaps come pre-lubed. And here are the keycaps. Nice, decent quality. I did notice that some of these keycaps weren't fully pressed onto the board itself. So making sure, like, as I was kind of like pushing down, some of these keycaps kind of like sat, and there's creaking from there's some creaking, and some of the keys just kind of like setting on the stem of the switch a little bit more. But let's go ahead and hear a typing test of how this sounds. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do a sound test for the L98 keyboard. Okay, so a couple things. The lubing job of this isn't the best. There is still some pinging and rattling of the wire and the housing of the stabilizers. This space bar is trash in terms of how it feels. It's very stiff and sticks and very slow to rebound as well. That seems to be over lubed, and I don't know what's going on with this space bar. It's just not great. Overall, the rest of the keyboard actually feels pretty good. The plastic housing of the actual keyboard, along with the Gateron G Yellow Pros, give it kind of a deeper sound profile. With these being linear, you're going to have a continuation, consistent pressing weight of the spring versus a tactile. You don't get any of that bump. Okay, so inside here, there's also silicone pads and sound dampening material inside the board to help give it that deeper sound profile, which actually does help a lot. Of course, a factory lube job is not going to be as good as what you might find or do yourself, but I think this is pretty good. For 130 bucks, you get a little LCD display that you can customize, shows the time, you get RGB and things like that. And then there's some other settings which are nice to have. You can adjust the different layers. You have 3 layers that you can change within the FN and all of that. You can set up macros and whatnot, and then save it to the device, so that's always good to see. You get a cold cable, so there's a lot going for this board. It sounds good. You may just need to do some work with the actual stabilizers, taking the keyboard apart, pulling the stabilizers out, relubing them. The space bar, for my experience, was not great. This seems to also be a little bit bowed. And you can kind of see there is a kind of a slight concave bow along the board as you look down it, but that's plastic. Overall, I think 130 bucks. There is a $15 coupon code right now on Amazon. Again, I'll leave the links in the description where you can pick this up. I think overall, for a sub $130 keyboard, this gives you a lot of different options into the mechanical keyboard space, with it being hot swappable, everything pretty much pre-lubed as it comes. This is kind of a good entry to that, without you having to worry about building anything and things like that. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, or want me to make a follow-up short video on this for anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them and be able to help out however I can. So thank you so much for watching as I covered this ProtoArc RoyalAxe L98 keyboard. Until next time, you take care of yourself, and I'll see you all in the next video.